Welcome to the Taylor Hall Podcasting Lab. Through a lot of work this summer and a lot of planning and preparation, we were able to bring the Trine Broadcasting Network here to Taylor Hall. The podcasting room has a control station and 4 microphones for a 4-person podcast. Each of the stations has a microphone and its own individual headset. The headsets are controlled at the control station at the top. You have 4 knobs that correspond with each of the 4 headsets, and you can control the volume for comfort. There's also a master control over here on the right side. To use the podcasting room, you'll either need a laptop computer or a micro SD card. You'll need your own micro SD card to get started. Or you can use this plug, which is already in the unit, and you can plug that into your laptop if you have Audacity or Audition already on, or some kind of a sound recording software in your laptop. You can use this cord with USB to hook into your laptop and do it that way. If you don't, it's no problem. Again, just make sure that you have a standard micro SD card. A standard micro SD card with a ScanDisk adapter. I think it was like $8 on Amazon, so it's not very expensive to get started. If you get your own disc, then you'll know where all of your content is, and that'll be easier to keep track of. Okay, let's take a look at the Rodecaster. The Rodecaster is a state-of-the-art podcasting tuner and piece of equipment. It has a lot of functionality, so it couldn't really be any easier to use. You see that it has 4 numbers here at the top. That corresponds with the 4 microphones. So pot 1 is the one with the red cord here at the main station. Pot 2 is attached to the green cord or the green microphone wire that goes to number 2. Number 3 has a purple microphone cord, and number 4 has the blue. So you can control the strength and the volume of each of the microphones here, and with your headphones on, that allows you to regulate it. Here you have Bluetooth, and it's USB, and you can bring in sounds from your computer or smartphone that you hook up with USB. This is for, again, using your smartphone, and then also Bluetooth. Bluetooth can be paired through the main monitor at the top, and you can bring sounds in. Just hit the red power button right there in the back. That'll turn on the main control screen. And you can see the different volume levels as I talk. I'm gonna back all of those off except for number 1 and find a good comfortable level there. You don't want it to be way up high. Usually somewhere below the middle is where I like to put it to get started. And you can mess with this and play with it as you go along. Our micro SD card, we need to put this in the back. So as you lean over the unit, you'll see there's a micro SD slot. And you just insert the card into that slot. You'll hear a little click and it sits in there really nicely. And now you're ready to record once you put that in there. See the record button here at the top, and once you hit it, it turns red, and we are now recording onto that micro SD card. And you can record with 1 person or 4 people, manipulating their levels here with the sliders however you want to. When I'm done recording, I'll just go ahead and hit the big red button. Now I have the content on my disc, but if I want to play it back here over the headphones, just hit the gear button, hit podcasts, and this shows the most recent podcast in the screen. So you can scroll back, and this is a pretty long one that somebody recorded on here. And if you hit the play button there, that'll play it back over the headphones for you, and you can monitor it that way. Usually you'll want to take the disc back out of the unit into your computer, wherever you're going to do your editing, and then you can start working at it there using Audition or a program like it to do your editing. At this main screen again, you can hit the gearbox and you see some options. One of these options is sounds. So the sounds correspond with these squares on the right side, and you can cycle through them. So we have sounds, and we've got some preloaded sounds here. For instance, crickets chirping is the purple box on the bottom. And every time I hit that thing, I'm gonna get the crickets chirping over the headset. If you cycle through here to this one, you see the red and the orange highlighted at the top. I've put the Trine Broadcasting Network intro and outro in these two squares. So if you hit that square, you'll get the Trine Broadcasting Network intro. If you hit that square, you'll get the Trine Broadcasting outro. So if you want to include those as you build your podcast, you can go ahead and do that. Now, if you hit home again and hit the gear switch one more time, you can hit channels, and that gives you some options as well. You've got the 4 microphones at the top, you've got Bluetooth here, and you can go ahead from Bluetooth and try to change the sounds that you've built in. And in terms of adding Bluetooth, if you just hold down the button, it says that the Rodecaster is now discoverable as that button blinks, and you can find that on your device and put your phone through Bluetooth right there through the Rodecaster. And then you can play sounds from your phone into your recording. Rodecaster Pro is really easy to use. It's user-friendly, but the biggest thing I would suggest is just coming in here and playing with it yourself. It's a very durable piece of equipment, and you're not gonna break it if you come in here and put it under normal use. Bring in some friends, throw them on these Taylor Hall microphones, and have a little bit of fun recording. You might just find a podcast interest among some of your friends, and you might be able to put something together. One thing we do ask to try to keep this thing working properly, we ask that you not bring food and drinks into the podcasting center. If this thing gets a Diet Coke spilled on it, it's lights out for the Rodecaster, and that's an expensive piece of equipment to replace. So keep the room nice, keep the drinks and the food to a minimum, and certainly protect this thing at all costs because we want to be able to use this for a long time. Remember, you need to get a scan disc or a micro SD. You probably want some kind of adapter, and you can see Professor Brown if you have any questions about what you need to get. You've got your Bluetooth. You can plug your phone in with USB. You can plug your computer in with USB through these pots on this side. Here are your microphone pots. You can listen back here at the top by hitting the gear. You can go into sounds and manipulate these sounds over here on the right. And you can preload those very simply as well if you want to play around with that. Now we ask that you don't delete any of the ones that are already there. But if you hit and hold an empty square, you can pick the color that you want and you can record right into one of those squares. Just have to play around with it a little bit. This podcasting room is for our students. We want you to use it and enjoy it and make some great memories in here. And we invite you to go ahead and sign it out. Talk to Mr. Brown about getting the key and getting on the schedule. And you can have a lot of fun in here and maybe get started with your home broadcasting career right here at Taylor Hall.